Well, here's the deal. Marco Sullivan, who has 23 previous felony charges and 11 misdemeanor charges, is locked up in the county jail. He's got a job working for Ready Ice. Well, when he gets locked up by the Lakeland Police Department, he has his girlfriend, Morticia Wilson, call to Ready Ice and say, hey, I've got the flu. Well, they discover that Marco's not going to get out of the county jail as quick as they all thought. So Marco asked Morticia, who has an 18 felony and 10 misdemeanor criminal history, to write a letter for him. Said, we've got to figure out some reason for them to save my job at Ready Ice, because I really like it until I get out of jail. So Morticia, being a good girlfriend and being an experienced criminal, decides that she will enter into the conspiracy with Marco and write a letter. And here's what they wrote. Marco Sullivan is out doing special work detail, which is confidential, for Polk County Sheriff's Office ATF investigation unit, comma. He will be on the unit for 6 months or less. Due to the severity of the case, I'm not able to enclosed, ENCLOSED, no farther, FARTHER, information. For any questions or concerns, please notify me. Sincerely, Mike Singleton. Well, Mike Singleton is not a detective for us. And apparently they got our letterhead offline and made their own document, which is a violation of law. So we have an outstanding warrant for Morticia right now. She also has an outstanding warrant for second-degree theft or second charges of theft out of Orange County, and we're looking for her. We didn't have any trouble finding Marco to lock him up because he was already in the county jail. But I suppose if you look at the history, the prolific history that these two folks have, considering Marco's already been to state prison for a 10-year stretch, and Morticia's been to state prison for a 3-year stretch, and they all have multiple felony charges, you shouldn't be concerned. But here's a clue for you. If you're going to dummy up a letter from the sheriff's office, I highly recommend that you spell correctly, that you use a real deputy, so that you're not embarrassed when we come out and arrest you. Because this has got to be some of the worst spelling and the worst sentence structure that I've ever seen. Now, you say, that's what Morticia Wilson looks like, but we have the faces on Morticia Wilson, and they're quite different, and we're not sure how she looks. Now, this is a mugshot from 2016 in Orange County, and this is a 2010 photograph. So this is the faces of Morticia. Well, she's not busy styling her hair. She's dummying up letters in order to protect her boyfriend's job at Ready Ice. Of course, Ready Ice immediately looked at the letter without being trained detectives and said to themselves, I just bet that letter didn't come from the sheriff's office of Polk County, Florida. And they were right. And now we have lots of criminal charges pending against these folks. Help us get them in jail.
So they thought, we're just forging this letter to help save his job, but this is actually a very serious crime.
It is. It's a criminal offense. So Marco and Morticia, who have already been to state prison, who both have legions of criminal and felony charges to include robbery, aggravated battery, have one more charge, and this time it's for dummying up a letter saying that they work undercover. Oh, and by the way, maybe you should use a functional unit that we have. We don't have an ATF investigation unit.
So if you're gonna, make fun of somebody or kick somebody to the curb, that would be me, because I'm not gonna do a whole lot. Why would they attack you when you go after these guys? Remember the guy that was on Facebook saying, "Come get me"? Well, you did, and you kicked his butt. And that happens over and over again.
Sure.
What's your reaction to the fact that these guys are playing with a little bit of Polk County fire?
Well, I think they don't think well in advance, but I appreciate the fact that they gave me a little humor this week with dummying up a Polk County Sheriff's Office letterhead. After all, it's against the law, and they're going to jail. And Marco won't be housed with Morticia, so they won't get to look at each other or talk to each other when they're in the county jail. Goodbye, Marco. Goodbye, Morticia.
Is a little part of you sort of flattered that they chose you?
I'm not so flattered as I am. Just it just lightens my day, because you look at this and you go, "Come on, girl. Everybody knows that you got to spell correctly. Google it. Enclosed, no farther." Well, we plan to have Morticia enclosed in the county jail. And she'll be there sooner rather than later if you help us.
You think she's in the Orlando area?
She was last seen in the Orlando area. If she would show up to visit Marco, we could make this a whole lot quicker.
What was the part about the flu? I didn't understand that. What was the connection?
Well, the first day he had Morticia call and say, "Call in sick for me, tell him I've got the flu." Well, I guess maybe he thought he would get out at first appearance. Well, it became abundantly clear due to his criminal charges and the fact that Orange County had a warrant for him that he wasn't getting out. So he liked his job at Ready Ice, so he goes, that doesn't work. I've got to buy some time. I'm going to be in here a few months. That's when they decided to dummy up the letter that he was assisting law enforcement in an undercover operation. Well, let me tell you something, Marco. We're not using you to help us in an undercover operation, unless, of course, you want to help us find your girlfriend. Then we can use you.
On the scale of stupid criminals, what would you rate this one?
Well, this is not a 10 because I can't spell. Maybe a 5. There's one thing for absolute sure. We'll never use Morticia as a secretary of the sheriff's office, because she can't spell and she's got a felony record.